My name is Manuela. I am 8 years old.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm 8 years old.
My name is Amalia and I have 6 years old.
Followed the machine learning courses in Madrid and we really had fun.
We are A10 team.
Right.
A10 Box is a wearable assisted device that hangs from the neck to help visually impaired people to increase their quality of life. Did you know that only in Spain there are more than 850,000 elderly people over 80 years old who live alone? With age, the city, their homes, their needs present many obstacles. We have several cases amongst our friends and family that inspired us to find a solution. Now our kids are going to describe the device called A10. They will do this in Spanish so they can explain themselves better. Fortunately, with the help of technology, we will be able to include some subtitles.
El objetivo de nuestro invento es ayudar a las personas que tienen problema de visión. Durante el programa hemos aprendido maneras de solucionar problemas que pueden tener la gente. Especialmente la inteligencia artificial puede ayudar a los que no ven bien.
Se nos ocurrió que podríamos hacer un aparato con una cámara y que le enseñáramos a reconocer cosas.
Para construir el prototipo usamos una Raspberry Pi, junto con un altavoz, un acelerador, una cámara y una batería.
Después le enseñamos a reconocer diferentes pastillas y a ese programa lo llamamos PillNote. PillNote es un programa para ayudar a las personas mayores o invidentes a tomarse la medicación correcta. Hicimos muchas fotos de cada pastilla para enseñar a la máquina.
Con 40 fotos, los resultados eran fantásticos. A10 siempre acierta.
Además, hicimos un programa que sabía las pastillas que tenía que tomar una persona al día.
A10 sabe cuándo toca tomar la pastilla. La persona le enseña la pastilla a la cámara y A10 le dice si es correcta o no. Si la persona no se toma la pastilla correctamente, A10 manda un mensaje a un número de emergencia.
Los usuarios han sido muy útiles para el desarrollo de nuestra idea. Al principio pensamos en desarrollar una aplicación móvil, pero los potenciales usuarios nos propusieron una idea mejor, un dispositivo portátil que se colgara al cuello para poder tener sus manos libres, ya que eso es esencial para ellos.
Our first prototype was designed using only the processing power of the Raspberry Pi. We wanted to provide local AI with no sensitive data leaving the device, except for critical alerts, but it was not enough, and we had to include an accelerator to ensure the processing power.
During the development of A10, we thought about many other uses of the A10. For example, color or product identification, test reading, or even urban navigation help. We think that we should leave A10 Box as open source device.
Developers can create new training models that can be incorporated at no cost to the existing device. A10 Box want to help the community overcome any obstacle that might be encountered by visually impaired people in their day-to-day life, offering a platform where anyone can help with new ideas and new solutions.
A10 Box is going to help you.
We have had a fantastic experience.
Thanks for the opportunity.
So how viable is the prototype that you have right now?
So the prototype is already working and is functional, but the only thing is quite big. So the next development is to use, instead of Raspberry Pi, a Raspberry Zero that can hang from the neck.
So I want to understand a little bit more how you're planning to do the client acquisition, how you're planning to get the clients interested in the product.
Create a new prototype and we will provide it and we will present it in the National Agency of Impaired People in Spain, which is called ONCE, to see if this organization is interested on the device.
Okay, and how the process works. If they're interested, they're the ones buying and providing it?
Yeah.
Okay, Got it. Thank
The
you.
much easier one because we are.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
The accuracy of the app is fantastic at 99%, but I was just curious if you thought about that 1% where there might be an error and any implications. What happens if it doesn't get it right that one time?
What we have seen is when was only 10 pictures, the accuracy was not so good, but only with 40, we got a very high one. And we are sure that with more than 40, maybe 200 or 300, the accuracy will be almost 100.
I'm interested to know whether you've seen anything else in the market like this.
Yes. Well, we did a competitors analysis, and there is another device on the market that it gets a stick on the glasses. It's called Orcam, but
there were a few, but Orcam was the one with the most similar functionalities.
But what we saw, it was very expensive. It was in the range of the 6,000 euros, and what we built, our objective is go under 1,000 to reach to the highest amount of people. This is why we thought about this invention.
In terms of when you guys did this with the children, what did they find as the most interesting or the bit that they learned the most from?
I think everything started on getting something to recognize the different objects. So at the beginning, the first idea was to recognize poo in the streets.
Yeah, this is our son's first. His option to create something was for people who couldn't see to recognize when dogs leave poo in the street so they don't step on it. So we just helped him
to create something else.
A little bit more commercial than that.
But the great understanding for them was to use AI for recognition.
The camera part, yes.
Excellent. It's a shame they're not here for us to tell them good job, but please do pass it along to them.
They are absolutely fantastic.
They did an amazing presentation.
We really had fun during the process.
Yes.
You can tell.
It's actually the second year we enroll in the Technovation activities here in Madrid. So they really enjoyed it first time already.
Greetings from Ireland to everyone across the globe. We were inspired to create Memory Haven as a result of the recent demise of one of our team members' grandmothers who had Alzheimer's. May her soul rest in peace. I'm Margaret. Meet Team Memory Haven, Rachel, Joy, and our mentor, Mrs. Amaya. Dementia is an overall term for diseases and conditions characterized by a decline in memory, language, problem solving, and other cognitive skills. Sadly, it is progressive and has no cure. In Ireland, 55,000 people are estimated to be living with dementia, which is set to double over the next 20 years. Globally, 50 million people have dementia, and this estimation grows by 10 million every year. That's a lot. Our target audiences are people living with dementia, caregivers, doctors, family members, charities, and nursing homes. Our insightful ideation session allowed us to group dementia into 3 categories: memory loss, recognition, and speech. Rachel?
Memory Haven supports and promotes the independence of people who have problems with challenging memory losses, recognizing friends and relatives, and speaking, while also empowering their families and assisting their caregivers using assistive technology. Memory Haven has 6 main features. A photo wallet that allows users to upload, share, and receive photos that are tagged using AI. These pictures can then be played back as a slideshow. Research suggests that musical memories are relatively undamaged by dementia. This is why we incorporated a feature that creates playlists on the fly based on user emotions. The Reach Out feature gives quick access to friends, family members, and other emergency contacts. The face and voice recognition feature allows users to identify their friends and families. Our Memory Haven game allows users to put their cognitive ability to the test while promoting memory retention in a fun way. The Reminder Alert feature allows users to set tasks for the day and an alarm that can be set by caregivers for such tasks. For an example, medication time. To see the app in action, log on to memoryhaven.ie.
We surveyed our potential users, and these are the results. The most common problem faced by people living with dementia was memory loss. 94% of respondents said that they would be very interested in using our app. This was a very impressive validation of Memory Haven. We made the following changes based on feedback. Emergency contact details, GDPR information, and home addresses of users should they forget their way home. We have definitely learned a lot by working on our project, like developing design thinking skills and teamwork. Besides the obvious problems of COVID-19, the major problems were technical ones. Our app has some complex features, so we were limited by the platform we use. That is why we immediately started talking with Microsoft, who are now our technical mentors, thanks to Mr. Andrew McAdams, the MD of Microsoft Startup Europe.
We applied the 4P matrix to map out our marketing strategy. We have already built our landing page and plan to launch our app in October of this year with a nationwide tour of nursing homes. We have several competitors, but what makes Memory Haven stand out is the fact that playlists can be created based on our users' facial expressions. Our revenue will be generated in app purchases, advertisements, and subscriptions for the premium version. In the first year of launching our app, we estimate a total profit of €88,600, and at the end of 5 years, a total profit of €1,143,000.
In the future, we plan to make our app available on all platforms, offer in several different countries and with different languages across the globe, and also add more features such as QR codes to remind users on how to carry out tasks and personalized memory games using pictures of friends and family.
Yes, we are young, ambitious girls starting out small but aiming very high. We invite you as allies to help us support people living with dementia and their families by downloading our app. Thank you. We invite your questions.
I just want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into the type of technology that you guys are using. So I know you mentioned that there's a slideshow created, and one of my questions is that slideshow automatically created based off of pictures that the end user uploads? And then my second question is, what AI technologies are you guys utilizing for any of the recognition aspects?
Well, for the AI that we plan to use, we're currently working in joint operation with Microsoft. So we plan to use Microsoft Azure, and we plan to code the app in React Native because the application we were using was limited. And for the slideshow, users get to upload photos, and those photos are the ones displayed in the slideshow. And they also can get photos sent from their friends and family, which they can also be viewed in slideshow mode.
Is that kind of automatically created for the slideshow, or?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have like a training component involved so that the patient as well as the family knows how to use your app?
Actually, yes. On our website, currently there are going to be video tutorials, and we've already uploaded some which show how to use the app. So they'll be able to learn how to use it if they don't know. And also we have a contact details and information on the website, so they can contact us if they're confused. And we can also re-explain in a certain way to help people understand.
So first of all, I want to say really great job. I mean, I think it's a super important problem, and it's a very creative use of technology to kind of address some of the bigger challenges that you've clearly done some research around. Any feedback or concerns by users on their ability to use the app, and have you had any testing where they've tried to use it and seen whether or not they could navigate it and do some of the functions that you're trying?
So we actually conducted a number of surveys to see how users would take to our app. So we also contacted the estate shareholder in Alzheimer's Ireland, the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, who told us that we should probably use it introduce a feature that would allow users to sign in without having to input a password and email in case they forget. So that's why we decided to add the facial recognition and finger touch features so users can sign in case they may forget their passwords and emails. And caregivers and family members also have access to users' accounts in case there's any problems there.
Hello, my name is Tori Hagenlocker, and I'm the creator of Recycle Right. How many times have you wanted to recycle an item, then questioned whether it was recyclable or not? This is a common dilemma, and it's important to get it right. When the wrong things are put inside of a recycling bin, well-meaning people can cause more harm than good. This problem is called recycling contamination. When contaminated, entire batches of useful recyclables are thrown away. The recycling industry is struggling. Demand for recycled materials can change suddenly and can vary from county to county. Up until now, an environmentally conscious consumer was expected to memorize or guess what can be recycled, and it's challenging to keep up with changes in the dynamic consumer recycling market. Well, RecycleRight offers a solution to these problems. RecycleRight is a tool that helps users make accurate decisions at the time they're recycling or discarding an item. That provides an easy-to-use, streamlined user experience with innovative and engaging features and accurate, just-in-time information, which empowers the consumer with knowledge. When a user opens the app, they're brought to the homepage, which offers general categories of waste information. When a category is selected, they're brought to a page detailing the specific disposal information, such as this page about how to properly dispose of personal protective equipment. The app also has a recycle scanner, which uses a specifically trained image classification model to detect the object in question and tell the user whether it's recyclable or not. It has a map feature, which shows the user their closest disposal centers, and an AR component, which details bin-specific disposal information via an augmented reality animation when the user scans the branded RecycleRight sticker located on the bin. RecycleRight's business model takes advantage of existing community-based recycling infrastructure. The target market is all consumers with access to smartphone technology who want to help the planet by recycling. Key partners currently include My Community Government and disposal centers, who are marketing the app as a dynamic way to educate the public on the constantly changing regulations of the industry. I expect local recycling programs to subsidize the initial startup costs, as they will benefit financially by increasing the amount of non-contaminated recyclables that they collect. That will also be monetized using Google AdMob, which will place non-intrusive banner ads throughout the application. The RecycleRight marketing plan began with a social media campaign to increase the app's digital footprint and the launch of the RecycleRight website. My current efforts are focused on building a relationship with key partners who will be involved in promoting and implementing this technology. The next phase will be the distribution of the RecycleRight branded stickers on recycling bins, whose functionality is also to serve as advertising. There are few other apps about recycling, though I believe RecycleRight has a competitive edge in this market. My app offers an all-in-one solution to promote correct recycling. Other competitors lack the ability to adapt to the differing regulations of specific bins and counties, as well as engaging, innovative features that improve user convenience. RecycleRight is not meant to be a one-time educational tool, but an engaging app that helps users develop good recycling habits. So far, I've been continuously updating and improving the app. I've initiated the social media marketing campaign and launched the official RecycleRight app website. I've also begun communication with the key partners outlined. In the next month, the app will go through beta testing, where I will then incorporate user feedback. In Q4, I'll be ready to begin the distribution of the RecycleRight stickers and officially launch the app. We project a user acquisition of about 15% of county residents based on the consumer analysis survey we conducted. After calculating for user retention, we can expect about $240 per day in ad revenue by the end of our 5-year projection. Any profits generated will be directly reinvested in expanding the initiative. Recycling gives each one of us the ability to make a difference. My generation is concerned about the future of our planet, and I believe that this tool will be able to empower us to be the change we want to see. Thank you for your attention, and remember to recycle right.
So really thorough app and presentation. So I'm not quite sure how the disposal industry is set up, but I don't know if they have competitors, and if you would have one sponsor and then you would put all of their features, or you would put them on your app, or how do you go about aggregating the disposal companies, or are there more than one? I'm not quite sure how that's set up.
Yes, so there's a lot of local waste management programs. So right now our efforts are focused on contacting my local disposal center, where we'll try to implement the app within my community, and we'll monitor this progress and see how this app actually increases the quality of recycling collected. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was personally never aware of how dynamic like recycling regulations can be. And I think you really did great about highlighting that. And I was wondering, like, how will you keep up with government regulations as they kind of continue to change? And that was something I didn't learn about until like much later in my life. So I'm curious to see like how will you kind of alert the rest of the public on that?
Yeah, so this is essentially the entire functionality of this app. This is why it has a competitive advantage, because personally, I see my local community recycling infrastructure. They're investing money in advertisements. I see on the metro to like promote correct recycling. I get mailed pamphlets about what's the correct things to recycle. So this app actually provides these communities a dynamic and engaging tool that can immediately update the public based on the changing regulations, because unlike these like paper advertisements, it can change instantly. So yeah.
So Victoria, really great job. It seems like you're leveraging a lot of the more advanced features in Swift for augmented reality and machine learning. Is that right, or are you using other libraries too?
Yes, so this was actually one of my first experiences using things like CoreML for the image classification model and ARKit for augmented reality. Right now, what I'm planning to do with the app and what I've been doing is I'm trying to increase the data set for the image classification model, so it can improve. So it improves by classifying a larger set of items with an improved accuracy. And by doing that, now I'm trying to use the Bing search API to increase the data set, and hopefully it can be a more correct and accurate image classification model. But yes, yeah.
As almost 18-year-olds, we watch the world in anticipation.
We know that this world is going to be our future, and so we march and protest and demand change to make our future one that we want to live in. However, this has proven to be ineffective.
You see, the problem isn't that we aren't trying hard enough to make this change. The problem is that we're fighting the wrong battle. The way to enforce systemic change is by using our voice politically, and we can do that by exercising our right to vote.
However, this is easier said than done. In fact, 18 to 24-year-olds are one of the most underrepresented in the political spectrum globally. And this statistic, as seen on the screen, is a common trend seen worldwide.
A major contributing issue to these statistics is that young people are often disengaged with the political world due to the lack of education on how the government works and lack of understanding on where their views align.
This is where our app comes in.
I'm Ajay, the Chief Data Officer, Chief Design Officer, and Chief Business Officer.
And I'm Drishti, the Chief Technology Officer and Chief Financial Officer, and we would like to introduce Eunomia, an Android-based political simulation game designed to invigorate the youth to vote.
In this game, you're made Prime Minister of Eunomia that functions according to the governing system of New Zealand, and the aim is to win the next term. How you delegate your funds and manage your country determines which electorates and general votes you win in the election, thus gamifying the political education experience.
The way you manage your country is then also analyzed to determine which party your opinions most align with in the elections.
We ensure that this process is done in an unbiased manner through security and sophistication of our code.
Essentially, the app allows you to see what your political opinions would look like if they were reality, as well as teach you how the electoral system works. It makes your political education as easy and engaging as possible so that when you go to make your vote in the real world, you can be certain that it is for a party most representative of your beliefs.
We are confident that gamifying the political education is considerably more effective than textbook learning, as we are engaging the user through a process known as active learning.
Additionally, we intend to make the code flexible to the utilization of Max Berry's algorithm. In fact, the screens you're currently viewing are updated designs better suited to match the algorithm. And this allows us to go even further than New Zealand. Our aim is to have the youth of the world have a voice in politics. And so, our future plans are to make the app available globally and be multiplayer.
In this version, users will be able to create their own countries and interact with countries of other users. This will not only show users how other governments function, but also let them explore the political and cultural diversity of the world.
As we plan to grow global, our market increases to 1 billion people. With this large market, we aim to hit 10 million users with a revenue of $11 million by 2024.
We intend to achieve this by branching out to Australia and the United States in 2021, India and the United Kingdom in 2022, and South Africa by 2023. This plan revolves around these countries' general elections. Between each surge of elections, we plan to use the profit earned from previous election to update our app.
However, we intend to make the app free as we believe that this education should be accessible to everyone. Thus, the way that we intend to generate profits is through the data we collect from the app with the user's permission to then later sell to companies and politicians for polling.
Opinion polling is essential as it tells politicians what the people want. However, currently there's very little representation of the youth in opinion polling. This is due to younger generations having lower phone and response rates. So even if these younger generations voted, their voice is likely to remain unheard.
What we intend to do, with the user's permission, is to anonymously gather data regarding how many users align with which party, as well as their opinions on where funding should go, and then sell it to companies which collect and present polling data to politicians.
As we're creating a market of youth polling data, we will also be the only company selling it. Thus, our database would be high in demand, while at the same time, we'll be providing a platform to the youth's opinion and polling data. This method of profit generation is not only beneficial for our company, but also the user.
In fact, within this market, we found no apps or services comparable to Eunomia. The apps that we did find lacked the gamification element that allows our target to actively learn about politics in a fun and intuitive way. We know gamification is the future of learning, so why not use it to our advantage? Why not educate the youth to allow them to take control of their world? Thank you.
So what's your current technical implementation look like? Where are you in the development cycle, and what tools and architecture are you using?
So currently we're using Android Studio because we believe Android has the widest user range because Android is easily accessible as well as cheap. But what we intend to do later on is expand it to iOS by using Ubisoft because that's a more is more suitable for game development. But for now, we're keeping it Android Studio, and we've had some user testing done, and we've seen that it's actually effective and people enjoy playing the game.
Initially, you had started out with protest and making change. So are you connecting being informed to making change? I mean, I'm not quite sure if you're able to influence or if you're just providing information. And then how do you avoid, in turn, being influenced by politicians and big companies?
So our aim is to be as unbiased as possible. We're trying to stay away from politicians influencing the app. That's why we're not going to be funded by the government at all. And we're going through the process of, giving the database and selling the polling data. A lot of the youth want change to happen, but they just don't know how to do it. Like, it's not enough to just talk to politicians and do protests and marches and expect someone to do something about it. You actually need to have a representative up there that's willing to listen to you. And if you don't have a representative up there who's willing to listen to you, there's no point protesting at all. So I think the point of the app is to educate the youth on how actually your vote matters. Because at the end of the day, when you win an election or if you don't win at the game, you learn that one vote done by that fictional character in your game is making such a big impact. And that one vote is just as powerful as protesting or marching outside.
So I get that you're informing. I think that's really good and important so that they have access to the correct information. But you're saying that through the character, one learns how the process works?
Yeah.
Okay, automatically. And so then you can make change that way.
Yeah.
Hi. So first off, I think it's a really innovative concept, and gamification, like there was a big emphasis about gamification throughout the presentation. I was curious to see how you will challenge some of those unconscious biases when you are building these games and then when the end user contributes.
We actually have a slide, but I don't think we can present it now, but it's the Max Berry algorithm that we found online. It's really detailed, and it's a 3D database which allows to position the user on where their political spectrum is without any bias. It's pretty detailed, and are we allowed to share our screen just to show that one algorithm? Yeah. So if you can see, this is the Max Berry algorithm, and it's a 3D database that allows you to position the user based on their responses in the questionnaire that we have initially to see where they align within this within this like scale. And similarly, parties like especially in New Zealand, like the Labour Party and the National Party, also have their own positioning within this scale. So what we were intending to do later on, further when we develop this app further, is to have like a way to program and see how far the distance between one user's opinion and their biases is to a party. And this allows us to keep our own biases away from when we're developing the app, because we're using an algorithm that's suited and is already created to be as unbiased as possible.